Go.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What'd you say? You've got a joke to say for Shay.
Oh, I told a joke to Shay.
Mm.
Yeah, let me do it. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, let me do it.
Oh, I think it's time for a nice refreshing beverage. That's not the joke, by the way.
Mm.
I was like, that joke wasn't very funny. I haven't said it. Oh! Oh man, I love these things and they're really healthy for you. It's like the perfect blend of electrolytes and microplastics.
Yeah.
I said it to Shay Monday. We were standing like pretty close to he was doing something and I was like that and I was like, man, it's filled with electrolytes and microplastics. And he just looked at me.
Like a Martin. No. What's his first name?
Norman Osmond? Who are you talking about? I don't know. Just get all those microplastics and then make a nice little film around your heart.
Oh,
Norm MacDonald, yeah.
He has a very serious,
He does that lean-in thing. He does a lean-in. There's a joke that he says, hey, know what I mean, eh?
Right.
Rest in peace, Norm MacDonald. He, one of his jokes, he would tell a story about this really bad person. He was like a cannibal that he murdered, people and all this stuff, and he did terrible things. And then at the end of the joke, he'd be like, "Oh man, this guy's a real jerk." And he would lean in and say like, "This guy's a real jerk." Like that's the joke. But
I feel like I've had I feel like I've had a good 15 different things I've wanted to talk to you about over the last week that I've saved for today, and now I don't remember any of them. I didn't write any of them down.
Well, I can help spark those topics, having you remember them by me, just simply from me speaking. You've got 15 topics that you want to unleash, but you can't think of them. I've got one topic. Music. When were you first exposed to music? Yes, that was I was like, when we're thinking about topics and like what to talk about and things like that, I was like, oh, what's the thing?
Well, on the topic of topics, I didn't.
Music.
The main reason I'll get to that after. The main reason I didn't write them down is because those first few podcasts that we did felt clunky and didn't have any sort of a flow to it because I was too busy thinking about the topics the whole time and what I wanted to talk about, and then trying to remember what I was thinking at the time. I'll get to look a topic up on my phone and then try to remember it and then try to think and say exactly what I was thinking at that time and piece it all, and it just came out all chopped up and weird, and there was no real flow to it. And then the last one we did was great because I didn't think about anything. We just sat here and talked the whole time.
Yeah. And it's cool too that we don't have to be afraid of dead air. We can just not talk and just
having that in the back of our minds. Yeah.
knowing that it's not like this isn't live and we have to keep talking, otherwise we're going to lose viewers. We have to keep talking. We have to keep talking. Oh shit! Quiet, silence. We can't have that. We need to keep talking, just talking, and then all of a sudden our sentences aren't sentencing make any sense, and then we're talking, and it's like, how long's it been? And it's like, just fucking relax.
30 seconds.
Yeah, man. It's like, yeah, we're going fucking nuts. Yeah. And we like check the time. It's like 1 minute.
You'd be really interested in. I'll save it for like a good like year or so. Like I won't let you see it, but the very first one we did was it was quite bizarre.
I look forward to reacting to that. At least we'll get some views from reacting
to ourselves. Yeah,
with like
hopefully
bad quality audio and other technical difficulties and mishaps and stuff. But that all comes with figuring all of it out. Yeah, trying to figure it all out.
Look at me.
You think artists, when like musical artists, do you think they just, when they like electronic artists, when they jump on the computer, do they just start making really good stuff straight away? Like, oh yeah, this is fucking, I was born to do this. And like, no, they started out making like just, and that's like, oh, okay, well, let me figure out, and then over time,
but it's so hard to...
Years and years later, they become mediocre.
It's so hard to just put that out there. Like, I don't even, like... Because I was talking, I don't even want to upload that, the second last one that we did, because it was kind of... Like, the audio was so garbage, and the all-around quality of the video itself, it's like, oh, is it genuine to put it out, or is it disingenuous because it's like... I feel like it would turn people off from wanting to watch this at all, especially if it's the very first episode. It's like, oh, hey, this is our first episode. This is what you've got to look forward to. This is what you can expect from these podcasts.
They're not going to tune back in if this is what the audio is, and like, oh,
look at this pile of stinky shit.
Here, take it. It's good. Every other one is going to be like this.
Yeah, now that you've had it, would you like some more?
Yeah, and you're like,
would you like another one?
No thanks. I'm alright.
Yeah.
It's like, why? What's wrong? Like, oh,
I'm just trying to be genuine.
It's like, you want it raw? Someone said it needed to be more raw, and organic. Like, this is like, it's like not that raw and organic.
No. But music, yeah, we love music.
Music, yeah, that was it's just the thing that I wanted to.
Those CDs, or it's like it was like greatest hits, like 100, or it was like this autumn mix, or like something.
Yeah, well, as soon as you said
like,
autumn, I remember. It's like summer, autumn, so fresh.
So fresh.
So fresh. Yeah, I used to have the CDs. It was just so fresh, you know.
And like Evanescence.
Yeah.
And
my first exposure to Evanescence was
James Blunt, I think.
You're beautiful.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like just CDs of those, and we would listen to like.
Can I just point out, like, the very beginning of that song, You're Beautiful, by James Blunt? You know what he says right at the beginning?
No.
My life is brilliant.
Yeah. My love is pure.
Yeah. But see, this is how it starts. Like, he goes, my life is brilliant. My life is brilliant.
Oh, he says it twice.
My love is pure. He says it twice. So, but there's a huge space.
I think I vaguely...
If you listen to it again, listening to it again now, it's like, why does he say that? And then it's like 4 bars. I don't know how many bars there it is of what it is.
It must have
and
just
then he
been
says
like
it
a
again.
mishapped intro.
And they left it in? I don't know. It's
Maybe,
weird.
Well,
you listen to it again, and it's just, my life is brilliant, and then it's just do 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 do. My life is brilliant. My love is pure. Da 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 da, and it keeps going.
Must have been like a weird choice. Like I would say
he just wanted to emphasize. He's like, guys, listen.
No.
Before we get started, my life is brilliant. My life is brilliant. My life is pure. And he's like, I don't know.
No. I think he was like warming up into it and was probably like repeating it, and the right amount of bars that they needed for it to be like synchronized. Or yeah, I don't know. I I think it just for the right amount of like beat to be in there. I think if they took it out, the intro would have felt like slightly off. It would have been too short. There wouldn't have been enough.
It's just when I was a young teenager, I used to say, "Your wife was brilliant, do 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 do. Her love was pure. She ain't no angel, for that I'm sure." I used to just sing that at high school.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. Your wife was brilliant. This is my as a kid. Your wife was brilliant. Shit, her love was pure.
I remember a really stupid, one of the like dumbest jokes I ever said, and it made everybody laugh at the time. And I think about it now, it doesn't make any. Well, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense why it was funny. I've been like telling jokes all day. We were on some school trip out walking around, and then one of my friends was like, I was just kind of like on a roll and everything was landing, and then I was starting to just like reach. It was just like I wasn't getting any. I just couldn't find it. I'd run. It felt like I'd run dry, and then my friend was like, "All right, that's enough. You're crossing a line." And literally, all I did was look down, and there was like a line on the concrete that I'd like stood over, and it was like metaphorically I crossed the line, but also physically, and we just
physically,
we physically have crossed the line.
You crossed the line, dude. Like, literally, you crossed the line.
All I did was look down and point at the line. Me and my friends just burst out laughing. You're like, "Yep, that's child humor for you." It doesn't take much, and you wonder why like basic. Kids are like so easily influenced. And it's like, yeah, that's why it doesn't take much.
I mean, look, you watch kid shows nowadays, and you're like, "That's not funny," but it's like,
Oh, there are some that are bangers though.
Yeah.
Well, not nowadays. I actually don't really know too much about, but the old kid shows were.
There's an unusual amount of adult innuendo in these cartoon shows. Back in my day,
adult like horror,
and
in
today,
like quite a lot of old.
Yeah, very scary, disturbing cartoons I used to watch as a kid, but now looking back, it was just cartoons. But I look at it now, I'm like, that was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
But
you didn't even think about it as a kid. Like, as a kid, you were just like, oh, this is fun and silly. But then it's only messed up when you're an adult, when you, like, kind of realize the implications of what's happening and, like, the scenario and the setup and everything that's going on. You're like, oh.
Perfect example. Damn. There's a Ren and Stimpy. I used to watch Ren and Stimpy. And there's a scene in Ren and Stimpy where Ren is getting his teeth taken out, or he's getting a tooth ripped out. As a kid, I remember watching it as a kid. The scene, it's like a SpongeBob close-up, highly detailed view of him pulling his tooth out, and there's the gum and everything, and the gum gets like torn and ripped out, and it's all like extremely graphic.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the peaks of the thing.
We are peaking.
Filled.
It would be really cool if we stopped and had a look and then like continued on or something like that.
No, keep going. Yeah,
because you don't want to have this audio where it's like.
Like I said, it's just because of how it'll be right.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Ren and Stimpy. It's like as a kid having Ren go ripping out the thing. I used to be like, oh, that's so. I'd be like laughing my ass off, like that's just so silly. I watch it now and I'm like. Oh!
It's because we couldn't relate back then. We didn't know what like that kind of pain was or what it felt
it's just cartoons. It's just silly.
We didn't have the right amount of empathy to like really.
Ren slowly walking up to Stimpy, explaining very carefully in extreme detail how he's going to rip him apart and rip out his tongue and make him eat it and rip out his eyeballs. And I'm going to do all this and I'm going to do it. And it's all like really intense, and I'm watching it as a kid going, haha, he's really angry. But now I'm like, that's fucking disturbing.
Isn't he silly?
Still funny. Yeah. But like, as a kid, I'm like, ha ha ha. Because, angry little animal dude. I'm like, haha, he's angry. Now I watch it, I'm like, haha, he's angry. But at the same time, it's like, this is disturbing. Yeah, like, this is what they said.
You must be out of your mind.
I'm going to rip your eyeballs out, and then I'm going to eat them, and then I'm going to snap your arms off. And it's like, what the fuck am I listening to?
As a kid, like, you would do and say, like, things to that extent as well. Like, have little tantrums and go off on, like, these crazy tangents and say stupid
everything's
shit.
Amped up.
Get into
your emotions are amped up, too. Yeah. Everything's just at 11. You're just like,
you're like, that's just how you are. That's how people are. We do this. We do things. We're crazy.
So they make cartoons like that.
Yeah.
that are just completely fucked up. Everything's turned up to 11.
But then when you're an adult and you've simmered down and you have a couple more responsibilities. And
you're more mature.
You're not getting into fights with people. You try to avoid those kind of things. Or at least, don't want them to happen. So
because you mature with age, but as a kid, you're just like, everything's
no consequences. No consequences.
God damn.
What the hell I want. Yeah. So, how did you get introduced to music?
That's the thing. Like,
throw that one back at you.
Well, let me try and remember.
Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you?
Well, roughly 30-something years ago.
Yeah.
There was they didn't have any internet. We had TV with like 6 channels or whatever it was. And they had Rage. I first got exposed to Rage.
I was exposed to Rage as well, actually. I'd forgotten about it.
And there was another one called like V Hits or something. But yeah, I'd wake up and do the same thing early in the morning or even just like late at night as something to listen to as I fall asleep. It was just Rage, and that's where I get introduced to like heavy metal and obviously pop music. But something about pop music, it never really. It was too shiny and it just. I'm not bad mouthing it because it works for other people, just not for me. It doesn't. Nothing happens. Nothing, as I said, resonates.
It's filler.
Yeah.
It's just filler music.
I hear it and I go,
in the time.
That's fine. Yeah. Like that's okay, but I'm not like I need to listen to that again. That was something. Like no, it was just a thing that happened. I'm like, that's great. That's what I think the pop music is when they play that. And what I've noticed when I was watching Rage is as the morning grew older. See, early in the morning they would play Slipknot, Mudvayne, Limp Bizkit, and like rap music and real like. And there was some like some electronic tracks by these like electronic artists.
I was gonna say what you're about to say. I was gonna wait till you finish, but I know.
As the morning gets older, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter to the point where
I was in.
People are waking up around that time and going, "What's on? What's on Rage? Oh, Rage! I don't think. Oh, it's Aqua.
Yeah,
I'm a Barbie, and like, I like this. Yeah,
I was in that pocket of the lighter when I was watching it, so I would still like it. Was still well outside of what I was listening to on the radio, but it was kind of like it was a bit of a mix. Like it was maybe like 15% of radio, and then 70, and then 85% of just kind of a little bit edgier.
Yeah, and what's so hilarious is. As soon as I would notice the shift in the genres on Rage, that's when I would stop watching.
Yeah.
I go, I'd be like, oh, and it's like, it'd be like a bad, or not bad music, just music that I don't resonate with, or like pop music, like, oh, okay, there's one. And then it would end, and I'd be like, and then the next one, it'd be, okay, all right, it's 2 in a row, that means every other one, and I stop, and then I'd play a video game.
I almost didn't care just because the video clips were so unreal. Like compared to anything I watched, they were just out there. Like there was all these like
freestyler bomb funk MCs. Like the freestyler, and they were like
everything was so colourful and screens are going everywhere, and you had all these different weird kind of scenarios and scenes you never seen before. And there was a lot of like really bizarre claymation and animated videos that were just, I don't know.
And what's weird is that this whole topic, this whole subculture of music videos, like a friend, I was listening to Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I've never seen the video. I've never seen the music video. I used to hear it and I'd be like, oh, this is a cool song. And I downloaded it and I added it to playlists and I listened to it for years. And then I was on YouTube and I'm like, man, I want to listen to that song again, but like, it's got music video, like, whatever. And it has him like the picture of him like in claymation, of Peter Gabriel in claymation. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I press it and I'm like, oh! And this was the 80s or something like that.
They were next level.
The amount of time it would have taken to make that. And I was like, And I was like, sledgehammer, and he like sledgehammer would go, pow, pow, and a boom, down.
Yeah, the
I'm like,
production behind
oh,
everything.
and then like the aha take on me, how it's like do 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 do, and it's like cartoonish, and I'm like, holy shit! The technology was absolutely, depending on how much money you have to throw at it. And then I ended up just for years now just binging on like trying to find different weird music videos.
Yeah.
And I just keep finding more and more and more. So the songs don't really.
There are playlists.
Some songs
like
are good
rage
on it.
playlists, but it doesn't seem like it's the same like stuff I was watching and listening to. You like I'll go on YouTube and you can watch like a rage playlist, but I'm like, I don't know if it's just because everything's not in the right order. Like they did a better job of that, but it doesn't seem right. Nothing. It's not quite the same. I don't have the same feeling. And I know you can go on is it ABC? Like, because we talked about this a while ago because we wanted to listen to like just rage playlists at work.
Yeah.
But the YouTube one wasn't really that good. But they have they have the recordings of it. I think it was on like ABC. But it's another one of those things.
Like ABC Archive or something.
Yeah, but you got to like pay for it again. Another subscription. Nah.
Yeah, makes sense, but yeah, I don't want to.
I'll tell you what, I am glad I got Spotify though. That the amount of music
there are some music artists that really don't like. No, they've got some keen words.
Spotify.
They've got some extremely keen words they make videos on YouTube about it, how it's ruining and exploiting. And I'm like, okay, but like Spotify just opens up everything though. It's like if you want to listen to someone's music, you can. But
is it because
I don't know what's going
paid
on.
Like properly?
So, I don't know. But
I feel like that's got to be it.
All I know is those artists, they're ranting about something bad. There's something bad about Spotify, but I don't know it, so I have no right to say anything because I don't know anything. I literally don't know anything. So I'm just going to put my glasses on and...
Yeah, well, everything we would say is like speculative and it's all based on like assumptions. And if I had to assume why people might be angry with it, I would say it's probably just because they're not making as much money as you would. Like
they're probably whinging, maybe.
Yeah, well, like selling
maybe,
CDs,
I don't know.
Records, but like or selling it on Apple, like when people would like buy the song individually, whereas now I don't know, they must pay for like a certain cut, and then that song can go to thousands and millions of people, and they're not making as much money as they would if like those millions individually bought it off like Apple. But I feel like it's got to be a lot more wide-reaching, and it gets out there a lot better, so more people would be interested in it. And then I guess that's where like merch would come in. Like you would really want to.
Well, here's my process. Here's my process when I listen to music. Right, I'd go onto Spotify. Or in this case, my Spotify is basically just YouTube. YouTube does the same thing. They upload people's albums when it gets released and stuff like that. And I can listen to it for free. I can put up with an ad, but then I can listen to the song. I can enjoy that song anytime I want just by opening up the internet and everything like that. And there's even an offline feature, right? And I can just listen to a thing. I don't spend a single cent on the music that I listen to. I can just listen to it and enjoy it. However, if there is music that I really like and I want to have it indefinitely in case there's a big EMP and all the internet gets shut down and like, I wouldn't mind listening to music while there's a blackout. Like a blackout happens or something like that. Or even though they have offline mode, I'm just saying, let me finish. Is that to own their music a little tiny bit, just to not allodially, but just to actually have that song. So I'd be listening, I'd listen to an album or a song from the album and I go, I want that. So what I do is I go directly to their website or bleep.com has all of my artists. They have or Bandcamp or whatever. You go to the source of where their website is and you can buy their tracks individually for $1 or so, or the whole album for $14 or something like that. You feel good supporting the dude or group or band. Plus, you are supporting them and you're extracting it, not physically, but you're physically kind of you've got it permanently now in a nice, neat little folder. Because everything I do is like digital. I don't have CDs. I used to have CDs and stuff like that. I don't have vinyl records or anything. Everything is digital, MP3 or MP4A or whatever, or FLAC sometimes. But I all have these folders, and they're music that I've downloaded, and they're mine, and I've supported the artist, and it feels good. But it's only music that I want to come back to every now and then. Plus, as an added bonus, when you buy it directly from the source and you buy those tracks or albums, it comes in the most highest quality.
Yeah, not garbage YouTube. Holy shit,
Yeah,
man. That's
I don't
the
know about
biggest
Spotify,
difference.
but
Oh,
YouTube
no,
goes.
Spotify.
YouTube cramps everything in. And it's just lame. You
So-
buy stuff, it just goes. It's amazing.
The
two best qualities about Spotify is the video quality is phenomenal. It's like a completely different song. I can't believe how many songs just go from this to this, from listening compared to like listening to YouTube to then listening to on Spotify. Spotify just it just doesn't compare. It's so much better. But also the recommendations for new music you get on Spotify is just on a whole other level.
Because people make playlists, right?
Yeah. But well, not just that. I don't know what
Artists make playlists.
I don't know what the algorithm or the AI how it functions, but it actually it stops recommending anything that you already have in your thing. It won't recommend you the same music. And it just like, and it's always new, and you can like keep refreshing to like cycle through. You can create a playlist of music, and it takes all the, well, I don't know what it does, but I'm assuming it takes like all the different genres and all the different types, like analyzing what people have listened to from, if they listen to this song, what else do they listen to? If they listen to this, and it compiles it, you can put like however many songs you want on a playlist, and it just crams all this information together and goes, well, from this playlist, you must like this kind of music. And boom, new music you've never heard before, all these different artists.
Oh, I like
and you're
this.
like, oh, okay, well, what if I want this kind of style? And I make a new playlist, and I mix all these different songs together, and it goes, well, this playlist sounds like these songs. You can like find new songs based off what a playlist sounds like.
The perfect way to introduce a listener to more music like the music that they're currently listening to.
So it's not just like individual songs, but then you can do individual songs. You can just go to a playlist, make a brand new playlist, put a single song in there, and then go to the bottom, and it'll recommend you songs that are like that single song. And a lot of the time it's just the one artist, but you can refresh it enough and it'll give you new. But then you have like weekly, like it's like a find a new music playlist recommended weekly, and that always gives you new music. It's just always giving you new stuff, and that's what I love about it like so much. Whereas YouTube, you get stuck in a loop. It's always recommending you songs, videos of songs that have the highest amount of views or the biggest amount of likes, or songs that you've even listened to before, like again and again and again. You just get stuck in this loop in it. And even if you're listening to the most outlandish, bizarre, like weird style of music, it eventually always draws you back into the same loop. It kind of tries to force you into like this certain what's most liked and what's most viewed. And yeah, it rarely ever gives you anything that's new. It's always just the same again and again and again.
I'm picturing a gigantic building, like a massive hall, right? And there's a huge entrance, and you walk in. As soon as you walk into the entrance, you just approached with the newest, the most popular, like, hey, listen to this, listen to this, listen to this artist. And you're like, oh, yeah, oh, that sounds good. And you keep working your way through deeper and deeper. And then you got like, oh, hey, we've got metalheads over here. You want to listen to metal? And it's like, oh, yeah. But yeah, and you keep going, and then you find like, oh, hey, how you going? You see that group. It's like a room, and and you're heading towards that room. And as you're heading there...
Oh, yeah, keep going. Sorry, you keep going.
Yeah, it's just... You keep bumping into like, oh, yeah, all these different
Everything
things.
else. No.
You're weaseling, and
This is YouTube. YouTube's this big, like, whirlpool going on. Here's all your pop music, what's liked, what's sponsored, everything that YouTube loves, that, like, feeds it, that, like, gets more likes and more... This is all the popularity, and it's spinning around and around and around. And you've got metal, and you've got synth, and you've got, I don't know, like folk music, like everything that...
Japanese pop.
Like, yeah, like whatever that's way out here, like, and you get into this. But it's all still circling around this big hole. And as you get to this, it's all slowly being drawn in, each video until you reach the center again, and you're all there, and then you're like, oh wait, how did I get here? And you stop and you jump back out to here, and you go from this video, and then you go to the next video, and you go to the next video, and oh, you're back in the middle again. It's all just keeps drawing you into this one circle. That's what YouTube is.
You told me that.
Spotify is like more like a tree branch. You start here.
Yeah.
There is no middle. It just
keeps going and
it
going.
It just goes out, and you don't know which direction you're going to go.
Because there is literally hundreds.
Yeah.
Of songs.
And that's why I love Spotify.
On the internet. Hundreds of them. There is hundreds of music to listen to. Hundreds of musics. There are hundreds. It's almost.
Someone would have said that like 30 years ago. Hey, check this out. You can listen to hundreds of music.
Yeah.
And they would have been like, hundreds of music.
I think there's a website
that's not possible.
There is a website. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is, but somebody told me it years ago. I think a friend of mine might have told me it. But it's a website that it constantly updates whenever somebody releases music, and it just has a big number, and it's in the billions.
Oh, just like individual songs.
I think it's in the hundreds of billions. It's just whenever something gets uploaded as music to the internet. The tally just goes, so it's just non-stop, and it's just hundreds of billions of musics. But there's literally hundreds of musics on there, and it's really difficult to find those good ones. When if you're picturing like an iceberg, you're on the more you go down, it's hard to explain. But in order to get to the good stuff, you have to sort of go through different phases of the shit stuff.
Yeah.
And then you start going, oh, that. And then you, like, what genre is that called? You research what's the genre. Oh, yeah. And then you artist and that artist, and then you start.
Well, we talk about this all the time, where even when you find an artist that you really love, or you think you love, you find one song that's like, oh, I've never heard of this person before. I haven't never heard this song before.
It hits
it's
everything.
So
and
good.
Oh, this is really nice.
And it's because it's the only song they ever made that's like that. And everything else in their repertoire is a completely different genre. And they were just trying something new and experimental.
That was their experimental track.
For this one album. Like, it's not even the whole album that's like experimental and like that. You go and you're like, oh, well, the rest of the music isn't quite what I'm looking for. What album was that song for? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Go to the album, you're like, whoa. It's just...
So many albums are like that. The albums that I'm researching, that I skim through when I've got an hour or so just to sort of sit back, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. Whoa, yeah! Oh, yeah. And then it goes back to like, oh, yeah, that was all right. That was a good one. Oh! It'd be like two of them are like really good,
and it doesn't even make sense for like an album wise. Like, there's no synchronicity to it. It's really just flat, and you're like, who put this together? Who made this?
I listened to an album last week, and literally the beginner song for the album, the introduction to what the album is going to be, sounded like the outro to the album, and the outro song should have been at the top because it was the most brash and like, here is everything. This is all the stuff that I'm. It's like, but he ends it like that.
Remember the album I played at work by Jelly? Oh, what's his name?
Lemon Jelly.
Lemon Jelly.
Jelly.
Was that the album I played? Was it him or was it someone else? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Lemon Jelly.
I think it was Lemon Jelly.
Yeah,
and there was. Oh, no, it might not have been. I can't remember.
There's
but
so many there's hundreds of artists.
And we got to the final song, and it played, and then it just repeated to the first song, and the first song was perfect to be the final song, where it's the final song. Amped you up and got you going for, like, the album. You thought it was going to keep going, but
that was a similar album that hit exactly like that.
The reverse.
It should have been like this.
And you and me were like, I was doing the clean, and I walked by, and I was like, what? And we just looked at each other and I was like, I think they should have flip them around.
Yeah, that
doesn't
makes
really
more
work.
sense. I was like, oh, is the album starting? Like, no, that's the end. That's the ending track. That's how they end the album.
Yeah.
Like,
Weird.
I get orchestras at the end of their thing. They do this big, like, you know, and if you've ever gone to church, you know, when they finish playing their music, they go, oh yeah, you know, they end really like,
But they've still got that like
yeah,
big crescendo to the ending. It's like a farewell.
yeah, they don't somberly, very quietly fade
You to
out.
sleep. No,
Like,
we want you to leave.
Yeah.
We want you to leave enthusiastically. Get
Dude,
the fuck out of here.
in the 90s rave era, my favorite artist, Richard D. James, or Aphex Twin, I got his A for Aphex Twin. He when he used to do 90s raves in warehouses and you know, halls and stuff, illegal raves and legal raves and all this kind of stuff, he made tracks that would be so intense and so energetic that it would wear out and destroy the audience, and then to the point where they would be like, all right, let's leave because it's just too much. And he released either like an EP or an album or something that has all those things, because he never released them. They're just tracks to just absolutely blow you out completely, to you like, all right, that's enough. You've had enough. You know, it's time to go home. It's 4 o'clock. The drugs are wearing off. I need to go. There's one called Didgeridoo, and it's literally made, I think, when I was born in like 91. I think it's like 92 or something. It's called Didgeridoo, and it goes for like 7-something minutes.
Yeah.
And it is so brash. Yeah, such an abrasive.
Oh yeah, I think
And
you
it
actually
starts-
did play me like some of that at work one time. It's
Ravey.
Yeah, but with the didgeridoo going.
And then he puts
Yeah.
this like filter on it that makes it go. So it's like, and you start to like go, what? And then just goes, and it's supposed to mess you up to the point where you're like, okay, that's enough. All right. You're like, all right, I'm going home now. You know what I mean? Like,
Way, that would just like send
and
me
he's-
off to another level.
yeah, he used to play it, and he used to like jack the volume up to the point where everyone's just like going fucking absolutely nuts, and then it would stop, and it's like, everyone, fuck off now, you know, like seriously, that's what we would do because
that's rough. That's blue balling, man.
yeah, no,
you get,
because
like,
the
musically
club
blue
owners are
ball.
like, you know, it's like, oh, I want to keep playing, but the club people are like, we need them to fuck off because the sun's about to come up.
Yeah.
We need them to leave. How do we get them to leave? You can't stop the music and say, that was it, guys. Thanks for joining. Everyone's going to be like, play more music. So he did that, but he just did that to the point where it's, oh, you want to hear music, do you? You want fucking rave music? To the point where everyone's just like, ah, okay, that's all right.
That. No way.
I'm out,
I'd
I'm
be
out.
so into that. One of my favorite things to do, like
I'm not sure if it worked. It probably didn't work. Everyone probably did what you would probably do, is just get more excited and go, yeah, I want more.
Just like lose my mind.
And it probably used to cause, that's probably what got police involved, and that's how the illegal rave scene got so messed up, because...
I'm not much into, like, mosh pits, I guess, are alright, but I'm not into, like, the whole, like, death pit where they're going around, like, swinging, and people are trying to injure each other or, like, jumping on each other. I've never been into the whole, the whole romantic club scene of, like, grinding on someone or trying to... I'd like... If I'm going out, like, to dance, it's not to, like, pick someone up or dance with another person. I just want to, like, lose myself in the music and dance by myself.
Lose yourself to
And-
dance?
Yeah.
You just literally want to lose yourself to
To
dance.
Yeah, that's right.
The reason why they keep saying that over and over and over again.
Come on,
Come on, come on, come on. Lose yourself to dance. You always wonder, like, why do they keep saying that? It's like, well, they're making you,
Yeah, they want to lose.
hypnotically forcing you to like lose
And
yourself to it.
that's what I do.
That's what
like
you
when I
wanna
go
do.
out, and I would
It's just dance.
but only if they had like some crazy electronic section, and it had to be like weird upbeat, just like exactly like that song you were saying.
Yeah, like
that,
didgeridoo, yeah,
that
just-
that would be perfect. And you know, I'd just be like
wasted just out of my brain and
Yeah.
and dance around, and I would probably look like a fool, but I felt good and was having a good time.
Yeah. And that's the whole point. That's why I like electronic music the most out of all the genres. I listen to all different types of music, but I always keep going back to electronic music is because of that fact, is that it's always there. You don't have to be in a certain mood to listen to it. You just, because there's barely any lyrics. We're still good.
I was just taking the battery.
And it's just there it is.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's, yeah, what you said is like, yeah, when you want like just like noise in the background as you're driving or working out and stuff like that. You don't listen to Nickelback or John Butler Trio or Slipknot or something like that, because things that have lyrics and everything, they're telling you something, and that's how you're supposed to feel, because you know it's there's a narrative. Electronic music, when there's no narrative,
you make it yourself,
and it's upbeat and energetic. You know, it's such a great thing to have in the background as you do stuff, or
it's less thinking.
You can even just sit there,
feeling,
and switch your brain off, because it's not telling you anything. It's just presenting you sounds that sound good, that sound fun, that it's pleasing. So, some of it's not so pleasing, obviously, but there's things that are designed to please your brain audioly, and you just sit there and go, "This is nice," and you just switch off. This is great, especially if someone has severe ADHD. You start listening to that type of music, and you're just like, "Oh, and yeah, you're like, oh, okay, cool." And you're like, "Oh," and it just.
I've actually been struggling in a way to do that during this individual podcast, because since editing the audio, I've noticed a lot of just like, even though you can take out most of the background noise, that certain noises do come through, just like tapping or like
I'm thinking like this.
Hit my.
Yeah,
right.
When I'm adjusting and stuff like that, it's like.
But like with your wrist,
this thing
that thing was clattering a lot. But I was also making like a lot of noises where I tap my feet and do certain things, and
you bump,
I'm just so fidgety,
table.
and I gotta. It's like in the first one when I was doing this all the time, I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize I did that. Like, I'm like, because I often tap with my fingers a lot or do a lot of silly. I'm just like, I just move. I've got to keep moving and doing something. Whereas this whole time, I'm like hands crossed. Even though I do like sitting with my arms crossed, like it's kind of comforting.
Let's be perfectly still. Let's be perfectly still for about.
But my feet, dude, still on my feet keep, and I go to put it on something, and I like stop, and I'm like, put it down. No more of that. Yeah, it's just because it comes in the audio, like, and I don't know how bad it is, but it's just there. Now I'm aware of it and not desensitized to it. And because I've always wanted to have like a better ear for audio. My dad used to always be playing things, and he would have the mixer even in the sound room just when listening, when watching like any kind of movie, and he would adjust the volume and make it all like perfect. And I'm just like, and he was like, all right, can you hear this on? Like, notice this? Or I'm like, no. So it all sounded the same to me. Like I couldn't really tell the difference. Whereas now that I've been editing and I have the headphones in and I'm a lot more attentive to it, I am starting to notice it, which is picking up on a lot of things, which I don't know if it's going to be a bad thing, because I don't know if now because I definitely do this because of video editing now. When I watch anything, like I pick up, you just notice it's all there, and you notice the good and the bad, and you certainly appreciate it a lot more. But with the audio, I'm a little worried that now it's going to ruin my experience of watching certain movies or videos, or maybe it won't.
Just remember, I had that same problem, and I was telling somebody about it, and this wise old man told me I was having the same thing. Like, I know how some of these tricks are done in movies and in music, and it kind of lost that flair of that whimsical nature of like, oh wow, how the fuck did they do that? Or like, oh, it's like, oh, I kind of get the gist. He said the first time you see a magician do a trick, you're like 100%. But when you when you know that there is sleight of hand involved, misdirection, this and that, it does take away from the magic trick. However, you still don't quite know. If you don't know 100%, there's still like, yeah, I know how it was done, but I don't know how he did it. So there's still that.
Well, like I was saying with the appreciation,
It doesn't hit as hard though, but it's still there.
It makes.
You're like, ooh, but you're like,
It is like
loaded
there's two
somewhere.
sides to it, where even though if you notice the bad, well, no, actually, there's almost like 3 levels to it. There's noticing the bad stuff, which makes the experience worse. There's noticing the good stuff, or there's probably like an in-between where it's just like you're not really paying any attention because it doesn't really matter anyway. But yeah, there's noticing the good stuff, and there's a new like appreciation and enjoyment of the movie being so good that you're so engaged that you're somehow like not even noticing because they're doing such a good job of hiding everything. Everything is so airtight and beautiful and shot like perfectly.
And you're lost in it.
Yeah, that not only are you lost in it, but there's this profound appreciation for everything that you know that's gone into this scene that's made it so beautiful and perfect that you are just fully engaged and you can't even there's this new level of like watching, like especially like Quentin Tarantino movies. Oh man, unreal. He's like all of his like hit so hard in that aspect where you're just like there'll be a scene and the Norseman did this like the whole movie. Oh my god, the scenes and the shots in those big
the dream
like,
sequences.
Yeah, like a scene happens and then afterwards I'm just because you're just like, how did they do that? That was so you're lost for this like good like 5-10 minutes and then it's over and then it steps back a bit by going into like another scene that's a little bit more casual, but then you finally come back to yourself and realize that it was like it's this profound magic trick where it really you were convinced of everything happening in this moment. And it was seamless. You couldn't tell the difference between anything, and you're good at telling the difference between these things, or you've gotten better at it now. But it was just flawless. And yeah, that gives me a new love for like movies.
That's why when directors, artists, musicians, performers, when they are that good at what they do, at their craft, to make you, even though you know all the tricks and the trickery that's going on and everything, to have them still to this day, like still bring you back to that childhood wonder of like, holy shit, and you're just like, oh, bravo, bro. Or what I like to say is, I'm watching it, and whenever I see something that's just when I've seen something that's just a scene from a movie or a music that's just like unbelievable, I've never heard anything like it before, I go, impressive. Sometimes I stand up. Sometimes
well done.
I take the headphones off or something like that, or after I watched the movie or something, I would stand up. And I'd stand up and be like, yes. You know, it's this overwhelming satisfaction of like, I would just be like, that was, and I need to like digest like, wow.
Yeah. I've briefly spoken to you about this with One Piece, where I've just got this intense love-hate relationship with the anime. Love the manga. Everything about the manga is wonderful. Obviously, there's certain things that would be better, but just all around, like it's a good like 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
The anime, however, it's such a roller coaster because exactly what we were just talking about. There's been episodes recently that are so phenomenal. Like they actually get me like out of my seat. Once it's gotten through that one scene that was so beautifully and perfectly like animated, and there was so much raw emotion and power and just everything I ever want from like watching One Piece, all in this scene, and I love it so much that like
that's One Piece.
I find myself like a kid, like actually like cheering and yelling at the screen and going yes, and then it goes to like 3 episodes later and it's the most dog shit, like fucking
yeah, I know,
moldy bowl of water.
Probably a different director for that episode.
No, I don't know what it is.
It's not the
man.
creator of the show directing every episode. That's the
No,
thing.
I mean he obviously doesn't have the time to do it all, Oda. But it
Must be a different director for this
Someone-
episode because this episode's fucking
They
shit.
must have so much money going into this series because it's one of the longest. It might be the longest animated shows going now. But it was like Paint, like Microsoft Paint level animation, like some fucking kid, some just out of school, 18-year-old kid drew it in Paint and then presented it to them, and I don't understand. It's like you can't even say it was just like a stylistic choice because it doesn't make any sense to like you take the two together, and people are saying like the fucking dog shit animated episode was, oh wow, they were impressed. They were having the same reaction I was having to that like amazing episode. Like they were having the same reaction to both, and it was I just couldn't comprehend it. Like, how do you not see the difference between this? Like there was no background, nothing was like colored properly. Like everyone looked so fucking different and absolutely retarded. It didn't even look like the character. Everything was awkward and squishy, and it was just nothing like flowed. And then you've got this like beautiful like artwork, and this just I don't even know. It's like it reminds me of the type of what's the art style? I forget what it is. Where it's like a new age art.
Just art.
Yeah. And it reminds me of that, where it's got like there are certain art pieces these days where it's like a couple of
Avant-garde?
lines.
No, not avant-garde.
Nah, it's the kind of art where you go like, you know, my 3-year-old could have drawn that. Like, what's the difference? Oh, the difference is that this person is well known and famous and
yeah, it's more of the
like,
artist than the art
yeah
that the artist creates. It's like
and
like what the hell is this?
that's
And like,
what it feels
it's
like.
it's a such and such.
and they're
I'm
like,
oh,
clearly it's,
and they go, oh, it's good, yeah.
Oh, what, you don't like it? Oh, it's because you just don't understand. It's beyond your like level of comprehension and understanding. You just don't really know art. You think you know art, but you're not really there yet.
You go to someone's
you see
house.
the different like color palettes and how they like match and it's just bullshit. It's just fluff.
Mm.
And that's what I felt like these episode differences were. And everyone I talk about, they're all trying to make excuses for it. They've all got a reason, and I'm just like, there's no reason. It's shit. Live with it. Like, but they've got so much money going to it that I don't know how whoever was overseeing like the production of One Piece didn't point it out and know why did no one say anything about this? Like,
I reckon that
why
guy
is
just
everyone
wanted to
loving it?
save money. He saw an opportunity to save a lot of money. He's like, let's not put so much money into the animations of this new revamp.
Well, you know what it is, like realistic. It could be like one of those classic the new saying people like to say is, oh, I'm playing checkers, whereas they're playing like the 3D chess. Whereas really they made like such a bad episode because it builds hype. It makes everyone talk about it. We're talking about it. It puts it out there. It gives it more attention. Oh, did you see that one bad episode of like One Piece and no one's admitting it?
Yeah, what's the phrase? Bad publicity is...
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yeah.
It's publicity. People are talking about it. That's what I want. I want people to talk about the show that I'm making.
Yeah, let's make it stand out so everyone talks about it. This brings this new hype to the show.
You know,
And then now that everyone's watching it again, we got these banger episodes that we're going to put out and everyone's going to love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it even more. All eyes on for these episodes that I put all my heart and work into.
All those hours that they spent, the animators, like, making it, yeah.
Yeah.
For someone to watch it and...
So for that aspect, good on them. But...
Someone told me there was a conspiracy theory going on about how the first Sonic movie, the trailer, how the Sonic was, you know...
That wasn't a conspiracy. That actually happened.
They did it solely...
Oh.
No,
they did it as a tester, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's false, but it's an interesting theory to think about. Interesting thought process because
that's what trailers are
to
all
get
about.
eyes on the new Sonic movie that's never been made before. This is Sonic in movie form for the first time. Or maybe there's been, but this is like a AAA big blockbuster movie Like, how are we going to get like as much hype as we can? It's like, let's release a trailer with the most ugliest looking Sonic as we can. The internet will explode saying, we should boycott this movie. We are not going to watch the movie until they completely change it. When actually we have the final product and it's different.
And it's already fixed, but then they say they spent all this time and effort because for the fans and
the fans are going to explode and go, this isn't our Sonic.
Yeah, wow. But then they
release it and go, oh look,
but then they go, oh well, because we love the fans and we want to make everyone proud and happy. So we spent all this time.
We went back
work
and we changed the whole thing around.
And money and
we sunk an extra $15 to $20 million into the thing.
To fix this up, but
we're bankrupt now
the whole time, and
that's the theory anyway. What do you reckon about that theory? I think.
Look, it's.
They just don't get Sonic, and they were like, "This is what Sonic looks
beyond
like."
Beyond the realm of possibility.
We might be
if they
saying
did that. Good on them. Like, wow, that's unreal. If they did that, like, where could you imagine? Here's a scenario. Could you imagine they put that out and everyone loves it? Like, they've got to fix.
Can you imagine?
They've got to fix the fucking shit. They've got to fix the good version.
Oh.
They're like, oh wow, it's like Derp Sonic. We love this.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man.
Everyone's gonna watch the movie like 3 times in a row. Like, we're gonna sink so much money into this. We're just gonna watch a movie. But I'm just saying, if we're doing podcasts years in the future, we might be talking about how the animated One Piece, how the first series, the animation was that bad. I haven't seen any of it, by the way. Well, maybe I have. I can't remember, so I probably haven't.
Of the newer stuff? Or the old One Piece?
That makes sense, right? The new stuff, how people have...
It was only that one section. Like,
I was going to say, maybe the rest of the series that comes out in the future...
There's a lot more to complain about One Piece anime, but that animated, that section was just...
Maybe in the future we'll be talking about how that one season was absolutely shit with the animation, but they got it sorted out in the next season onwards.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, man.
Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be this 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 to 15 to 30, 50 season long thing of just the same animation.
It's not going to matter. One Piece is just a big milk fest. Like, realistically, not the manga. Well, yes, the manga, but 100% the anime. Like, it's the ratio of one chapter per episode is. There are chapters where just nothing happens.
Yeah.
And they got to fill it in. They got to make it last a whole. Well, they already do.
Voyage. They call them voyages.
With the intros and the recaps and the outros and everything else. And
previously on One Piece.
And the flashbacks and all the other garbage filler that they throw in, which makes it unbearable to watch. But then they do all these extra time lapses of. This person's reaction, that person's reaction, do one more thing. Let's get their reactions again.
I wish I could pull up that video of...
Did I show you the one with the sumo dude, where he's sumo fighting?
No.
It's fucking unreal.
Yeah, but there's clips, especially the one that's in my head right now, where like the city, something's happening. What's his name?
Dressrosa?
The whole city is a thing. His name's Miku, and he has a really high-pitched voice.
Yeah,
like, don't make fun of me. Pika or something.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. They got real names in it.
Anyway, the whole city is like, so it's a shot of them, and it's like, and it has the thing like, and then it has the city is like falling or something. It's like
there's a cage around, like coming in, and
they keep showing it
and
over and over and over again.
Like, and then someone else struggling against it in a different area. Yeah,
and it has like people running, and they're like,
and when you're actually paying attention, like there's nothing actually really happening in that shot. It's just a still
shaking,
background and
a shaking
slight
a bit.
effect of
They might add a little bit of like crumbling of rocks or something falling, and something, but that's it. And you watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, but then you start realizing like they're just reusing the same shit again and again.
I just imagine
and then the episode ends. You're like, oh.
I just imagine whoever that whoever makes those episodes, and they go to whoever the boss is, and they show it to them, and the boss is like, yes, good job on this one, saved them a lot of money, and it showed what needed to happen. But
maybe they got like a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard it's like, remember to use at least one clip 6 times.
Yeah.
In every episode, pick a clip, pick a scene and use that six
it's
times.
It's the pacing. It's always the pacing. It's just gotta. Sometimes it's great. Most of the time, it's not.
Yeah. Hey, I am privy to doing that because I make electronic music sometimes. Voice crack. Electronic music sometimes. And there are parts where I'm like, I make a track and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And I've pretty much done everything I want to do in it. And it's 2 minutes long. And I'm like, oh, I kind of, if I get 2 minutes and 45 seconds or 3 minutes, that's the goal, like three to 3.5 minutes. So I just get like the middle part and I just sort of copy, paste.
I was about to say,
just
the
stretch
amount
it
of
out.
songs I've
3 minutes,
the amount of songs I've listened to where they're like, realistically, the song is 2 minutes long, but they've just taken the whole song and pasted it again, and it's just... And I'm like, and I'm not even, and I recognize it, and I know it's the exact same thing, but I'm not even mad because I just like the song. So it's like, yeah, I'll listen to it twice.
And that's the thing. Cool. It's not bad. It's like, oh, it's a good section of the song that's like played, and it's like a high point.
I'm talking about the whole song just repeated.
Oh, yeah, well.
Well, like, you think about the amount of Daft Punk songs that it's just like one bar repeated the whole fucking time. But, yeah, no, there's definitely certain...
Robot rock.
Yeah.
If you ever listen to the most...
Around the World. Bro.
Around the World, yeah, that's number 2. Yeah. Number 1 is robot rock because they literally use like 3 things. Yeah, that down,
it works, dude.
down, diddle-doo-diddle-doo, down,
you just get it right, and it just works.
But they nail it.
Yeah.
They nail repetition. There's good repetition and there's bad repetition. You can listen to, what is it, the famous singer that talks about, you look at her lyrics and it's like, you know, she's a fucking hoe, stupid slut hoe, she's a, you know, and that's all it is. Yeah, whatever, Doja Cat, I don't know.
Oh, okay, which is
but it's just, it's like, yeah, it's like, I'm really rich and I'm sexy, I'm rich, I'm sexy, and it just non-stop, that's all it is. Yeah, look at my ass, look at my tits, blah, 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 and that's all it is. And then it's like, that's bad repetition. Then you got Daft Punk.
Yeah.
And even Chemical Brothers, they loop some things sometimes.
Well,
and it's like,
we're talking about this with like comedy. Like, well, we talk about this quite a lot where there's certain jokes where with the repetition where you do like, how many times before it gets annoying or it's not funny anymore. Because you can do certain things once and it can be hilarious. And you do it again and you're like, oh, and then it dies off a bit. Like, so a lot of comedy will go like this, and like when it comes to repetition, and it dies off. But if you do it the right way, you can unexpectedly hit like that second peak.
Yeah.
If you get it like 4 or 5 times in a row, like the gun one we're doing, where it's like once, it's like, well, I guess in that case it's almost like not funny, but the more you do it, it does get like funnier. But you can go too far and have like and basically go over a cliff. And it's like,
depends on the skit, depends on the joke or the gag itself.
Yeah.
The more you do it.
It depends on the individual as well, because there are certain times, like I can think of where things have happened, and the repetition, and it gets funnier and funnier and funnier, and you're just dying laughing with a group of friends, but then the joke kind of like dies, but someone keeps doing it, and then it just hits again out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're all bursting out laughing again, even though you thought it had just died like 5 seconds earlier. That's what I love about comedy. It just can be so unpredictable.
Yeah, especially with the way you present a joke, especially when you do it, multiple times. Like in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I've never watched the show. I watched it as a kid. I don't remember it. But apparently there's an ongoing gag. That's what they call them, ongoing gags, right? Kind of like the couch gag in The Simpsons. Something's different, everything like that. But there's an ongoing gag where there's a character, I forgot the name, but he's a dude and he's in the house with the family and he says something inappropriate and the father or someone looks at him and they grab him and they escort him out, and it has that same clip that they always show is him getting thrown out and he goes, ah! And it's him, ah! And it's like, oh, that's pretty funny because he says something and they're like, we can't have that in this household. They grab him and sometimes he gets to the point where he's like, I shouldn't have said that, right? And it's like, yeah. It's like, come with me. It's like, yeah, no worries. And he helps and he's like, I'll do it. Sometimes he does it himself. He's like, there's no one around. He's like, he knows he said something inappropriate, and he's like, no one's around, and he's like, oh. And he gets himself.
It's the same clip of him being thrown out.
It's always the
Hope,
same.
yeah.
And there's a compilation on
That's
YouTube.
hilarious.
You watch the compilation of every single time he's been thrown out of the house.
Yeah.
And it's just every single time, because you know it's going to happen. He's going to say something inappropriate, he's going to get picked up, and he's going to get thrown out. And they change it around sometimes, but it's usually the same.
You talk about, like, we're talking about those, like, peaks and repetition with comedy. Like, two come to mind, like, immediately. And one is the Peter Griffin, like, hurt me. And at first, like, it makes you laugh so hard. And then it, like, slowly simmers down and you stop. But it just keeps going and keeps going. And before long, you find yourself just laughing at it again. You're like, because it's so absurdly long. You're just like, why are they still doing this?
Well, that's the joke on top of that joke. The Family Guy joke is how to make a Family Guy joke funny. Just keep doing it until it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep doing it again and again and again.
But then there's also, I think we
like
spoke about this recently, is the Monty Python joke where the guy's running to stab everyone. It's the
96. Well, I recently bought an Xbox, right? And I plan on playing the Xbox.
Again. Say, I recently bought
an Xbox.
Yeah, we're back. We'll get back to the Monty Python in a sec, but yeah, you go.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about just topics and stuff, bringing up topics like, we're doing a podcast, and I was thinking like I should have like a notepad, and I was going to write down like, talk about music, talk about this, talk about that. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's like, yeah, I have to remember that, like, as an example, I bought an Xbox not long ago, and I bought a few games with it, and I'm looking at these games, and I'm like, oh, that's a good game. Oh, I should play that game. It's like, oh, but I'm currently playing this game. It's like, oh yeah, but you bought this game. Well, play this game. Like, play this game. It's like
one at a time.
The Xbox isn't going anywhere.
I know.
I'm not going anywhere.
It's there. I had the same issue when I used to buy games. You just got to buy one at a time, play it to completion, and then get another game.
I've got like 4 games that I want to start playing.
Is it because it was like a bundle deal with the new Xbox, or?
Oh, it was just on sale.
Oh, okay.
And there was this game that I had no idea like existed. It was a sequel, and I was like, oh,
you haven't played the first? You playing the sequel?
No, what? Yeah, it's like, there's a sequel, and I was like, no way. Like, I should. And it was on sale, and I'm like, I bought it and I installed it literally this morning, and I'm like, I should probably play it. But I'm currently playing like 3 other games.
Yeah.
So it's like, eventually I'll get to it. Just like topics.
Don't you find like that?
Eventually we'll cover those topics.
Not ruins, but it takes away from your experience of that current game. Because if I have that, I'll be thinking about wanting to play the other game at certain points while playing this game.
Why not just play it?
Instead of being like fully focused and really enjoying this one game, I'm like, I just got this new one and I'm really excited to see what it looks like. And I don't know. Let me just chuck it in real quick. I'll come back to it.
I'll start the game. Yeah. I'll start the game, and then I'll go back and I'll
but then you forget about the other one, and you get stuck into the one that you're more interested in.
Yeah, I started playing Fallout 4 again. There's another playthrough, but it's fresh, and I haven't played that game in years, so it's a fresh experience. And then, because it was on sale, and I've never played it before, Oblivion was on sale.
Yeah.
Oblivion. Oh, it's like Skyrim. It's the one before Skyrim. And I loved Skyrim. I absolutely loved Skyrim. And Oblivion's like Skyrim. And hang on, and I'm looking at comments online. Oh, Oblivion, even though it's dated and it does show its age, one of the best, most thorough, thought out stories. Big, open, like living world, NPCs, the quests, everything. The dungeons aren't really that good though. The caves are pretty shit, but everything else is just so good. Yeah, and the animations aren't that, but like people like Skyrim fans absolutely love Oblivion. I'm like, oh yeah, wow. It's only $14 or some shit. I'm like, oh okay, I'll buy it. Downloaded it. Wouldn't mind running around in a brand new area with a sword and oh, but I'm in the wasteland right now and I got my guns and my... And this is fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I could just start the game and then I'll go back to... And like, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm not even playing Fallout 4 anymore. I was playing me Fallout 4, but now I'm not. There was a game that was like $6. It was on sale for $6. Or, no, I think it was at $26 or something like that. It's real cheap. Immortal Redneck. It's a roguelike game where you run... I was talking about video games and how so it's like topics will eventually get to all of them.
Ooh, baby.
This is a prop, by the way. These aren't my glasses. These are glasses.
Here, you keep talking. Yeah, you're talking about the game.
Oh yeah, the game. Yeah, Immortal Redneck. You run around and when you die, you go back to the start and you keep your gold and you spend your gold on stuff and then you upgrade your character so the next time you go in, you're slightly stronger. You just keep doing that, and as you're doing that, you get stronger and stronger, and it's extremely addictive. And someone who has severe ADHD like myself, it's a fun gaming loop, and that's what I've been playing now. But then I recently bought this game this morning that I can't wait to play, and not that the title matters or anything. It's no one knows about the game. Apparently, like some people know it. It's called My Time at Sandrock. It's a game. It's a farming simulator / open world. You have to like help restore the city or something like that. And it's a sequel to My Time in Portia. And I've never played My Time in Portia, but I've seen a playthrough of it, and it was extremely engaging and looked really good. Apparently, the sequel runs better, has better gameplay, and it has like guns and stuff, something. And it's open world, and you can dig and mine and go nuts and spend hundreds of thousands of hours and totally negate your social life and everything like that. So I'm like, oh, this looks good. And
People are obsessed with like putting mining in games now, aren't they?
You gotta mine. Yeah, you can't have a game where you can't dig a hole.
Yeah.
I want to. Oh, you can blow up this. You can do this. You can interact with the characters and shape how the story ends. It's like, yeah, but can I dig? Like, can I dig a hole?
Can I dig and build a house?
A base in it? Yeah, I want to dig and build my base in it, have all my ammo and all my stuff in
Building
there.
bases is fun, yeah.
Yeah, like,
and I guess you need to find the
Minecraft.
resources, so it does make sense. Oh, Minecraft is a lot of fun, but
I can't get over the style of it.
It just dies out.
It's all little blocks.
Oh, you know what? We could both sit on the same side.
Oh yeah, like we're doing like an interview.
Yeah.
It's like it'd be like us two.
We're just
like
looking into the camera. Yeah.
Hey, we're just talking directly to the audience now.
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, video games, and it's like, oh, I got all these video games, I want to play them, but I'm currently playing one. So when it comes to topics, we will eventually, over time, we'll cover everything. It's not we're going to cover it today. It's like,
Dude, I was literally just thinking about, like, because I forgot what tangent, like, I knew the tangent you were going off on, but I was like, what was, like, the initial thing? And I literally just remembered I remembered the Monty Python.
Monty Python, running.
Yeah, but then you said, anyway,
skit?
we go off on tangents. Yeah, so in the Holy Grail, there's I don't know what it is, one of the knights or whatever is going into the wedding to save, like, whoever the girl is that's there, and it's like, and it's got a drum, and there's two guards,
music, yeah.
and one guy's just standing there chewing his gum, and the other guy's like, like kind of like looking up for the, and it's like, and he like runs a bit forward, and it cuts back to the guards, and it goes back to him, and he's in the same spot, and he runs a bit, but he's just running. It's just showing the same clip again and again.
Yeah.
And the first time you're like, oh, what? Because it's kind of sped up like in a weird way that makes it look funny, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then it goes back to the guards just like nonchalant airheaded reaction, like they don't even care. And then it goes back and it's just but it's like a real like deep drum, like a suspenseful. And then
I'm gonna watch it.
I don't know how many times it does it, but it keeps going, and it just gets funnier and funnier.
And then he's like, ha ha! And he's like instantly there. Like he was so far away the whole time. And he's like, ha ha, yeah. And he stabs the one guy and he like runs by. And the other guard's reaction to it is just like, oh, hey, you're not allowed in there. Hey.
Oi.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, what? Hey, you're not allowed in there. As he runs past him. Like he just killed his friend. But yeah, so there's so much that the timing of that is what makes it funny as well, because it goes from this like really long, like drawn out joke to just like instant, like fast and so unexpected and hits hard. And there's like multiple layers of jokes and comedy like in that really short section that it just you just explode with laughter.
I know, and I love that. I love when that happens.
And there's just so many different. I like that there's many different ways in which you can apply the repetitive joke sequence,
like the skit that we're doing.
Yep.
Where the guy, my character,
Yep.
pulls out the gun. It's so weird because there's a scene where I'm trying to, but it's not coming out.
Yeah.
But then it hasn't happened yet. I haven't seen it, but in my mind, I know he's like this, and then all of a sudden,
it just
it's
cuts
happening
straight to.
You know what I mean? It's like it's.
And then you're gonna shoot yourself, and then
and it's gonna one of them is gonna be me
sense.
going like
yeah,
and it's gonna cut back to like and then
back to you being
you
normal
shooting,
again.
and then it's like me shooting, but then the gun is like the other way around. It's
so
these
good.
little things where it's like it just keeps on changing.
Yep.
It's the same gag, same joke, but it's
the inspiration from the video you sent me as well. Like this was separate after where the guy's dying
after
he's
the
like,
fact.
I love the way he screams in that. So I'm 100% gonna use that like do it myself, voice it myself, but that accentuated. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, what is it? Just type into YouTube best death ever or something like that. And it's a 1970s and it's just like Charlie's Angels, she shoots this bad guy and she just keeps shooting him and he keeps on overreacting to the
But
bullet.
she also her non-reaction to it the whole time. She shoots him and he's like screaming out, and it doesn't do anything. It cuts back to her and she. It's like it reminds me of like if you were to give like your parent, like your mom or your dad who's never played a video game before, like the controller. And she's like figuring out what the controls are, and she finally lines up the person. She's just like pulls the trigger and it shoots them, and they're like kind of half dead, but nothing. And then like, if you're playing like a really old James Bond game where like the villain gets hurt and falls down, but then it slowly gets back up again, and then she's like still got it in the line of sights, and she's like, one more, shoots it again, but there's no reaction to it because it's like it's not real, but this is real, and this is how the lady's reacting to it, which is what makes it funny. Explaining the joke. Always makes jokes funny.
Yeah, but it's
telling your friend about a video you've seen just never works.
Get excited. You get excited, and you want to like. It's so good that you want to explain it, like how beautiful it is.
And
like
you spend 5-10 minutes explaining it, and you get to the end of it, and you're like, that wasn't funny, was it? No, just like, or maybe they'll humor you and like laugh or smile a little bit, like encouragingly, but you step back and you think about it, and you're like, that's, nah.
Kind of a thing that you just sort of like keep to yourself. Kind of like what someone said about what is it? Music. Listening to music is like listening to electronic music is like dancing about architecture. Architecture. Is that architecture?
Architecture.
Yeah. Someone said that. So there's a quote of like, because when I listen to music, especially electronic music and everything, you start to degrade it by talking about it. It loses its thing when you start talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be, it wasn't made to be talked about. You just listen to it. That's the point of electronic music.
To be felt.
There's no point in me listening to a song and going, this is amazing, and I explain to you what happens in the song. Like there's this real, so the beginning is like this, right? And then it goes boom, boom, and then it gets really fast, and then it slows down, and then all of a sudden it breaks down, and then it goes in reverse.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you this, and you're like, Uh-huh.
Yeah, but what does it actually sound like?
I was like, no. I was like, well, listen to it after this. But okay, so and then towards the end,
anything. It's like going. Say, oh, I'm trying to find. Help me! I'm trying to find my friend. What does he look like? Well, he's a guy.
So you know, there's
and he's old, and you're at a retirement village, and they're like, that doesn't
old
really
guy.
help.
And it's like, yeah, go look. It's like, oh, why don't we just listen to it? It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just play it. There's a skit. We could just make a skit where it's like, I come up to you, you're just sitting there like this. You're just like, and then I come and go, hey Mark, oh dude, I just heard this electronic. Oh my god, oh dude, it's a new track by this. And you're like, and you stop me. You sort of like you sort of like Ben. And what? And you're like, why don't we just listen to it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And you like press a button.
You do a second layer. Because there's also the funny thing that happens quite often, like when you show you are in a certain mind frame and have been through just like a certain point in time where you can find a video funny, but if you watch it the next day and you're in like a different mood or you've been experiencing different things that day, it just doesn't hit the same. It's not as funny. Mm-hmm. And then there's that low of the joke where it's like you actually show me it, but then it's like it's not actually funny. It's not even like good, and you're like,
well, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought this was like funnier. Like
it's like when you show someone like if it's a joke from a movie. Sometimes they work by themselves, as we were saying with like the
a lot of times it needs context though.
Yeah, but a lot of the time it needs the context of the entire movie that happened before, because the jokes within it relate to what's already happened. So without that context, it doesn't work. So it's the same thing. You come up and you explain the whole song to me, and you're like, wait, no, I just need to show it to you, and you show it to me, and you're like, wait, no, you need the context. So you start running me through your whole day and everything that happened. To you day. And then it goes and you're like, wait, no, you need to know my family history.
So I was born.
Yeah.
And it's
I was
like, born in 1991.
Wait, no, you need to meet my dad. And then you bring me up.
Yeah. And it's like the origins of...
Have you tried this kind of whiskey before? And the joke, and it just keeps going. That's the skit. That's where it goes. It just keeps devolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like so you know like you know
what are you doing?
I don't know. You were singing and I started the beatbox. I don't know the reference.
But I don't know you.
Oh, Limmy.
But I don't know you. I was setting you up for that joke. I didn't. And you actually, you went into it too. Hell yeah, that's funny.
Oh, I don't know.
When he's in line and he's singing, he starts singing a song, and someone behind him start out of context jokes as well. He's in line.
You need to know the context behind the joke in order to get the joke, to get maximum.
Watch Limmy. Watch the Limmy show.
Watch everything Limmy. Yeah,
guy's brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
one of the funniest guys.
That joke. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know you. But I don't know you. Looks into the camera. Fucking so good.
Oh man, he's such a comedic genius.
Well, I think we might leave it at that today.
And that was another podcast.
I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Another good one. I've noticed I say that like at the end of like every podcast. I go, oh yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I liked it.
Had a little bit of an accent.
Not bad, eh?
Irish and Scottish accent, like Sean Connery.
Sure,
that's another thing I want to do next time is voices. Because I have funny voices, but I don't do.
Guess the voice.
Voices. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'll be. Oh yeah. Okay. Well. Jason Statham. I'm stealing this joke, by the way. I'm not actually stealing. I'm just repeating a joke that I heard. But yeah, Jason Statham saying, "Do you know what I mean?" No mean.
No mean. Mean? No mean.
Podcast over now. See ya. Bye. You can go now. You can click off the video and watch something else now.
Okay.
Watch Limmy.
I watched this video where the guy has like a big picture of like Shrek, and he like brings it. I don't know how he did it.
Into frame, just like slowly.
Yeah.